On the weekend surrounding Meghan Markle's appearance at a World Health Organization-related event in Geneva, commentary published in the Daily Beast by journalist Tom Sykes added to broader media discussion around her public messaging and social media activity. According to that commentary, an article was published early on the Sunday morning, prior to Meghan's scheduled appearance in Geneva. The piece focused on a photograph shared on social media featuring her daughter, Lilibet, and framed it within a wider critique of perceived contradictions between Meghan's public advocacy on children's online safety and her own use of social media. The article described the timing of the post as significant, linking it to the fact that Meghan was due to speak at an event addressing the harms of social media and online exposure. The author characterized the situation as a mismatch between message and presentation, arguing that the imagery shared online appeared inconsistent with the themes of the upcoming speech. In the same commentary, reference was made to past public remarks by Prince Harry in interviews and podcast appearances concerning the impact of digital platforms on children and families. These references were used to contextualize the author's argument about consistency in messaging within the Sussexes' public communications. More broadly, the discussion formed part of a wider media cycle in which royal correspondents and commentators examined the alignment between public advocacy, social media activity, and brand presentation. Coverage during this period varied in tone, with some outlets focusing on the event itself and others concentrating on the surrounding online discourse. As with much of the reporting in this cycle, interpretations of intent and consistency differed between commentators, and the framing largely reflected opinion-based analysis rather than independently verified factual contradiction. On May 17, 2026, events in Geneva surrounding the World Health Organization-related Lost Screen Memorial drew attention both for the formal proceedings and for the media commentary that followed. The memorial, held at Place des Nations in Geneva, was presented as an installation featuring illuminated lightbox displays designed to resemble smartphone screens. Each display reportedly represented a child whose family attributed their death to harms associated with social media exposure, including cyberbullying, grooming, and algorithm-driven harmful content. Families of the children were said to have traveled to Geneva to participate in the memorial event held in the square opposite the United Nations European headquarters. Meghan Markle was present in connection with the event, which was scheduled ahead of the opening of the World Health Assembly. Security arrangements and public visibility around her appearance became part of wider commentary, particularly due to the relatively open public setting and the presence of passers-by in the area during filming and photography. The Geneva timeline described in reporting and commentary spans roughly a 19-hour period between the social media post and the subsequent speech and memorial-related activity. Within that window, media coverage and opinion pieces varied significantly in interpretation, with some focusing on the humanitarian framing of the memorial event and others concentrating on perceived inconsistencies between public messaging and personal content shared online. As with earlier discussions surrounding the same period, much of the analysis reflects opinion-based interpretation rather than independently verified causal claims. Different commentators emphasized different aspects of the timeline, resulting in contrasting narratives about intent, messaging, and media strategy. During the Geneva event linked to the World Health Organization's Lost Screen Memorial Initiative, official proceedings included formal recognition of Meghan Markle's participation in the program. According to the organization's own published materials and event coverage, WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus introduced her during the event and acknowledged her involvement in the initiative. He reportedly expressed appreciation for her participation and her advocacy work related to public health and online safety. Following the event, she was also presented with a WHO-branded field vest, which was described in official remarks as a gesture of recognition for her engagement with the organization's efforts to promote and protect health-related causes. These moments formed part of the formal protocol of the event, where speakers and participants are often publicly introduced and thanked by senior officials. While the event itself was formally structured and institutionally supported, media commentary around it varied significantly in tone. Some coverage focused on the organizational endorsement and public health messaging, while opinion pieces offered more critical interpretations of symbolism, presentation, and broader public perception. As a result, the Geneva appearance has been documented in two parallel ways: first, through official WHO records describing participation and recognition, and second, through external commentary interpreting the event within broader narratives about celebrity influence, advocacy, and media framing. On May 17 to 18, 2026, Meghan Markle's appearance in Geneva for the World Health Organization linked Lost Screen Memorial event was accompanied by both a formal speech and renewed scrutiny of her social media activity in the days surrounding it. In her address, she discussed the rapid evolution of technologies such as artificial intelligence and the increasing scale and speed at which online harms can spread. She argued that digital risks are compounding and evolving faster than existing systems can respond, particularly in relation to children and cross-border online exposure. A central line from the speech, highlighted in subsequent commentary, was the statement, "Children must be safe by design, not safe by chance." In the context of her address, this phrase was used to summarize a broader argument about proactive safety frameworks in technology development rather than reactive protections after harm occurs. The speech continued with a series of analogies comparing digital safety to established public safety measures, referencing concepts such as seat belts, medicine regulation, clean water, and toy safety standards. These comparisons were used rhetorically to argue that societies do not typically leave fundamental safety protections to individual responsibility, but instead implement structured safeguards. The official transcript of the speech was later published by the World Health Organization, providing a verbatim record of the remarks delivered at the event. In parallel, media commentary, particularly from journalist Tom Sykes in the Daily Beast, focused heavily on the timing of a social media post shared by Meghan prior to the Geneva appearance. The post featured an image in which her daughter's face was not visible, showing only partial imagery consistent with previously used privacy practices. The caption referenced the family context of the moment, and the image also included clothing and styling elements associated with her public appearance at the event. Sykes and other commentators interpreted the timing of the post in relation to the upcoming speech as part of a broader narrative about public messaging, branding, and media coordination. His analysis described the image as symbolically loaded, drawing attention to visible fashion items and framing them as part of a wider visual presentation strategy. Additional commentary expanded on this interpretation by examining the composition of the image, the luxury fashion items visible in the frame, and the presence of the child within the scene, despite the face not being shown. These interpretations were presented as part of a critical reading of celebrity media practices rather than as independently verified claims about intent. The sequence of events, social media post on Saturday night followed by the Geneva speech on Sunday, has been used by commentators to argue differing viewpoints about consistency between advocacy messaging and personal branding. However, no official statement has been provided establishing a causal link between the post and the speech content, and interpretations remain divided between supporters who view the actions as unrelated personal and professional activity, and critics who see them as part of a coordinated narrative strategy. In the days surrounding Meghan Markle's Geneva appearance at the World Health Organization linked Lost Screen Memorial event, commentary focused heavily on the intersection of her public-facing social media activity, her lifestyle brand presence, and her advocacy speech on online safety. Her official Instagram account, @Meghan, which has amassed several million followers according to publicly available third-party analytics estimates, was noted in media analysis for operating with comments disabled and limited direct public interaction. Commentators have described it as a controlled, broadcast-style platform rather than an interactive social feed. In parallel, the lifestyle brand as ever has been referenced in reporting as part of Meghan's broader commercial ecosystem. Industry coverage, including reporting attributed to Variety, has suggested that Netflix previously supported early-stage aspects of the brand's development, including logistics and production infrastructure, before later stepping back from direct investment involvement. The brand has since been described as operating independently, with its commercial success increasingly tied to direct consumer engagement rather than platform-backed distribution. Some commentators have argued that the @Meghan account and the As Ever brand account function in tandem, with the social media presence serving as a funnel toward commercial activity. This interpretation frames the accounts as part of a coordinated marketing structure, though this remains an analytical perspective rather than an officially confirmed operational description. During the same timeframe, attention was drawn to a social media post featuring Meghan's daughter, in which the child's face was not visible. The image, which also included visible fashion and lifestyle elements associated with Meghan's public appearance, was interpreted by some commentators as contributing to a broader narrative about curated family imagery and audience engagement strategies. Others emphasized that the use of non-identifying imagery aligns with long-standing privacy choices made by the Sussexes regarding their children. The discussion also referenced past public remarks by Prince Harry on podcast appearances, in which he expressed concern about the structure and incentives of social media platforms, particularly in relation to children's exposure and data-driven engagement systems. These remarks were used in commentary to draw thematic links between public advocacy on online safety and the family's own use of social media platforms. From a factual standpoint, the sequence of events is documented as follows: a social media post shared prior to the Geneva event, followed by Meghan's participation in the WHO-linked speech and memorial initiative, and then subsequent media and commentary analysis connecting the two. However, no official statement has established a direct causal relationship between the post, the speech content, or the brand activity. The contrasting interpretations of these events reflect a broader divide in media analysis. Some commentators view the sequence as consistent with modern celebrity advocacy and integrated media branding, while others interpret it as evidence of strategic messaging alignment between personal content, public advocacy, and commercial positioning. In the days leading up to Meghan Markle's appearance in Geneva at the WHO-linked Lost Screen Memorial event, media commentary became increasingly focused on the intersection of her public advocacy, social media activity, and broader public perception. During the same week, attention also turned to separate high-profile royal engagements elsewhere in Europe, including a civic recognition event in Italy involving the Princess of Wales, which commentators noted as part of a wider royal news cycle occurring simultaneously across multiple countries. Against this backdrop, Meghan's scheduled participation in the Geneva event remained in place, with the installation for the memorial continuing on site and placed in nations ahead of the closing of the display later in the week. Her Instagram post, shared prior to the speech, remained publicly visible during this period, while no official clarification or additional statement was issued by her team in response to the commentary surrounding it. As with much of the coverage surrounding this period, interpretations vary significantly depending on perspective. Some view the sequence as part of a broader modern media strategy in which personal branding, advocacy, and public messaging coexist. Others interpret it as a contradiction between message and medium. What remains constant in the public record is the timeline. A social media post shared prior to the Geneva appearance, followed by the speech delivered at the WHO-linked event, and subsequent commentary connecting the two.